What's going on, everybody? We are here tonight with Building Freedom Ohio, and basically what Building Freedom's mission statement is. It's to develop the leadership capacity of people with the wisdom of lived experiences in the criminal justice system to build and wield power in grassroots-driven BFO chapters throughout Ohio. Basically, the whole point of me coming on here tonight is I have with me Sean, Lamar, and Monica, and they are all members of the Akron Canton chapter of Building Freedom Ohio. And I'm going to do a quick interview, kind of let them explain what BFO is, because they have a big event coming up on June 12th. So we're trying to raise awareness, kind of let everybody know what's going on down in Columbus on June 12th. Lamar.
Yes, sir.
Lamar, what is Building Freedom Ohio?
Building Freedom Ohio is a chapter organization that's a part of a bigger organization called OOC. But Building Freedom Ohio is a vehicle in which men and women returning home from prison get to start to build power together to understand. It's in a way it's an educational port. In a way, it's a safe home for men and women returning, right? To come together, to see each other change and grow. But it's also a vehicle in which we're using as independent voters to find out who are for what we're trying to achieve, which right now is to get rid of what is called collateral sanctions.
And for those of you that are curious, obviously, collateral sanctions are consequences that follow you through life after returning home. So, Sean, why do you feel BFO is so important?
It's extremely important. I mean, too much is given, much is required. And as BFO gives us the blueprint of knowledge we need to be not returning citizens, but just citizens, as avenues that we're allowed to walk through and use discretion to walk through those avenues with people with like-mindedness and similar struggles in order to get to a common goal, which is to reduce collateral sanctions.
Monica, real quick, June 12th, you guys have a big event coming up down in Columbus. So I want to touch on that. Explain what's going on June 12th.
June 12th, BFO was invited to the State House to have a peaceful demonstration in front of the legislature to address the issue of collateral sanctions currently in the state of Ohio. So we as an organization are taking people and we're just going to show up in numbers and peacefully demonstrate that we can come together. And once we are together, we do have a voting block with the power and the ability to put people in office and to remove them if they're not doing what we need them to do to support our community and improve our futures and our lives.
That's awesome. I would love to go down there and see what you guys all do down there. So Lamar, what else is Building Freedom Ohio currently working on?
So right now we're working on what is called the GROW Act. And so the GROW Act is connected to the Clean Slate Initiative, right? And so the GROW Act is something that business owners, factories, things to bring industrial things into Ohio are looking toward, because if they create this what's called Clean Slate Initiative, it opens up the door. Monica knows the numbers better than me. I'm going to guess them, but about 1.1 or 1.7 million jobs.
Yeah.
1.7 million jobs become open if this GROW Act is passed along with this Clean Slate Initiative.
1.7 million records will be sealed and expunged upon that being passed, which will put 1.77 million people back into the workforce with a clean record like they were never convicted. The jobs are already there. We're just prohibited from having them because of these restrictions and these convictions that are probably unnecessary for that field.
So I'm going to throw a curveball at you real quick. You being a little more versed in this, are you talking as far as positions that we could not hold as convicted felons? You're talking things like potentially working with kids, working in the healthcare field.
So personally, I applied when I came home for a job that was open to felons, cleaning children's hospital, just after hours, not in floors with patients, like doctors' offices, that type of thing. I was prohibited from doing that because of a drug charge. People whose records are going to be sealed that will not even be something that pops up. So they will be allowed to have these entry-level positions, which will give them the opportunity for growth in fields that we are not currently able to get jobs in. And the healthcare field is the number one field that we are prohibited from working in, but it is also the number one growing and the most pay increase field in Ohio.
And speaking of numbers, let me just touch on this real quick. 1 out of 3 people are dealing with have a compromised background.
Mm-hmm.
So say I got 5 people in my family, you know what I'm saying? 1 out of 3 of us have a record. So people need to know those numbers in order to be educated on how they should move. I mean, we all have friends that we're close to, or even at work. Like I catch myself now at my job now, just counting 1 out of 3 people. Like 20% of us or 30% of us have a compromised background.
Yep.
So this is not just affecting us on the forefront who is involved with BFO. It's also affecting our community as a whole. And the more education and the more knowledge we can get out to the community, the better it is going to not be for us personally, but just for our community as a whole.
Facts. I know the 3 of us that are from this BFO chapter, this won't change our records at all. But we understand the strength and the significance of what it's going to do for our community and those of us coming after us. And I think.
Yeah, and I think that's it's always about the bigger picture. And Lamar and I touched on this when he came and did the episode last week. Because I have felony too, so obviously this would never touch anything that I've done, but that's okay. I mean, him and I had a discussion, and it was basically you've got all these people who they maybe don't have the drive or don't have the ambition, and all they need is a break, but yet they can't catch a break because they're putting themselves out there, but then they get discouraged.
And so, that feeling of hopelessness. Awesome.
Yeah. Shantae, tell me how, let's talk real quick just about how Building Freedom Ohio is also kind of a support system.
That's a deep question. I remember when I first came home, real briefly, I always tell this story because it's so important to my journey. So when I came home from prison and I walked into South Street Ministries and Lamar was facilitating the reentry group, what caught my attention, everything that happened that day, and I was there just to obtain bus passes. I was going there for resources. I needed bus passes to get back to work. And when Lamar first started speaking, he said, listen here, I need y'all to know that we are a community. He's like, I got you, whatever you need. Just know, us coming home from prison, we're a community. So that has stuck with me for 5, almost 6 years. So as I have grown and matured, I realized that BFO is a huge community of individuals who are, all in to change our society and our communities for the betterment of everyone. Like we said, like Monica said a few seconds ago, this GROW Act will not affect me, Donovan, Lamar, or Monica, but it's important that we stand together and support one another as one versus having separate ideas or ways to educate our people, to let them know that they have a right to vote and their vote matters. Only way that we're going to change our community is if we support one another and we stand out in front of, in Columbus and with a positive mindset of we can make change.
Absolutely.
And I think
go ahead.
I was just going to say BFO is a support, I think, in our community because of the education. I feel like a lot of us don't understand like what is really going on and what our opportunities are and where to start to change them. People don't understand. They think, just elect a president. The president's not going to make the changes that we need. So we've got to bring our people together in support of our local elections and our local politics and our state legislature and really get involved and be supportive there to not just us as people coming home, but to our communities, and to let us know that we all need each other. We all have to be in this together as a whole system, or it's not going to work to fix anything.
Well, Monica, since you're already talking while I got you, why don't you talk about real quick about how Building Freedom Ohio has helped you?
Oh my goodness. Building Freedom Ohio has allowed me to be active in my purpose. Like I want to make change. Anybody that knows me knows I say all the time, we're going to change the world. And I genuinely 100% believe that. I was looking for that position and that opportunity, and then Building Freedom Ohio came, and it's giving me the ability to stand on the front lines and really be vocal and be active in the politics and the local government and our state government to change what needs to be done. It's given me a place to live in my purpose and to be able to make the changes for our future that I want to see, to leave a legacy to my children, for them to be able to say, my mom used to be this, but this is what she's doing now.
Right. Lamar, brother, what has BFO accomplished to date that you, off the top of your head, that you could throw out there real quick.
So we just had the convening where we were able to educate the 4 Fs: family, friends, felons, and the faith community. Educate them on collateral sanctions. Educate them on the history of the 13th Amendment, right? And how that's the overall effect of what we see going on with collateral sanctions. So that was big, man. We had probably about around 600 to 700 people to attend the event. So that's a victory within itself to have men and women that usually, this is the last thing we worried about as we struggle to try to make success in our lives, right? Is to give to, I think it was about 6 hours, probably about 6 hours long, to give that time that you can never give back, to give that time to learn. So that was huge, man. And so now, right now, with everything that's going on in the political world, we find ourselves in the most strategic position we can be in now to start
Yeah.
fighting about collateral sanctions and fighting about fairness. Is the justice system fair? Now, if you're beefing about the system and you wasn't beefing about the system 5 years ago, that same broken system that you say is broken now, it was broken for me too. It was broken for
Yeah.
Chris. It was broken for Shantae. It was broken for Monica. It was broken for all of us. Don't just break for one person. If it's
Right.
broken, it's broken for everybody to go through it. So now we got a place to have a conversation. So BFO got many big things coming forward because we got many opportunities, man. Listen, they gave us Pandora box. It's our time. That's what I'm trying to show. I was just saying that it's time, man. You know what I mean? And we had that convening at the right time. We're coming together at the right time. People are having awakenings at the right time. And just like as we were talking about with your own, with your personal life, like things are showing up now to make everybody start thinking again about these collateral sanctions and these things that affect us after we have already said that we were redeemed, after we already were said for the faith community, after we already said we were redeemed for the justice community. You said that I owed you something and I paid you back, right? And if I paid you back, that means I owe you nothing else. How am I continuously paying for something that you told me I don't owe you anymore?
Mm-hmm.
So it's just trying to figure all these things out, and now we're in a good place to have that conversation, considering
Hell yeah.
the good brother that's running for president.
For
Yeah.
sure.
Hey, I think that conversation you and I had, Lamar, needs to be discussed though at some point, because the fact that there's no collateral sanctions or restrictions placed on the position of the president of the United States simply is because we've never been given the opportunity to believe we could be president. Nobody's ever said, "Oh, I'm a
Absolutely.
felon, I'm gonna go home and be the president." So nobody ever said we got to make sure a felon can't run for president. But we can't work in hospitals, we can't own certain dogs, we can't do certain things because those are things that felons would want to do.
Well, it always threw me for a loop because I was always under the assumption that you could not run for the presidency if you were a convicted felon, or you
That's
could not run for office.
that's
Now, you also have the mudslinging and everything else. So you run for your local office, they're gonna dig up your record and you're gonna be looked at funny. And chances are you're not gonna get elected into office, but it just so happens you could. I mean, potentially, especially
in
after
this
this.
environment, I think that there's a great chance that would be a
Exactly.
realistic thing.
But I was always under the assumption from the time I was a little kid. In fact, I almost remember my like third, fourth, or fifth grade teacher stating that you could not be a felon and run for the presidency.
That's that history they were taught to teach us, huh?
Yeah. All right, Sean, what are Building Freedom for Ohio's future plans?
Future plans?
Yeah.
Least here for as a whole organization, I can't speak for, but as for Akron and Stark County, I mean in Canton, our plans is to educate our people.
Mm-hmm.
Knowledge is power, and the more knowledge our people got from the first Fridays to the community events, and we can get out here and educate our people on what Building Freedom Ohio is, the importance of their vote. I feel like that's gonna move the needle for BFO to be greater than what it is. I mean, because Ohio, Stark Summit County is just a start. We plan on changing the world. I mean, this is for real. This affects everybody across the country that who's not included in the Clean Slate Initiative or other things like that have things going on that can potentially change communities across this country and make it an even playing field. Because as my bro says, and I wasn't on his side when he first started saying it, I'm not restored. I'm not restored. It is this last few weeks, bro, has really hit me how I am a citizen. I've done my time. You told me to go
Absolutely.
rehabilitate myself, and it's crazy to me. Like, even if you Google me, just hypothetically speak, everybody Google Shantae Metcalf. It's crazy that my last mistake is the first thing that pops up, and I have done 15 other things right below that in my community to say that I am a citizen. I'm not restored. I'm a citizen. I put in my time, and now I'm putting in my works. When, as a government, as a correction office, are you going to allow me to be just that, just a citizen, and not somebody with scarlet leather?
Absolutely.
And
The
there's
national agenda for BFO is pushing the GROW Act, linking up with the faith community, trying to really bring some solidarity between the faith community and us, bring solidarity between us and the business community, reaching out to entrepreneurs and, just all these things, and bringing everybody to the table, being more intentional about it as we start to get closer, because this is what the June 12th thing is about. It's the time where collateral sanctions are going to be discussed openly in front of the State House building, where people at the legislation are able to hear it, that's making legislation, and they're able to look outside that building and see possibly 200, 300, 400 people, right? And no political math, and say if it's 400 out here, there's probably 400,000 or 40,000. If it's 40,000, it's 4. So they start to understand the math too, right? And so that's
Yeah.
why June 12th is important, right? Because sometimes what we call it in the joint is a demonstration. Sometimes you got to put a demonstration on. Sometimes somebody got to get punched in the mouth, right?
Oh, that's our old life, Lamar. But
Hey,
yeah,
hey, hey,
I'm
man.
picking up what you're putting down.
Hey, man, listen, man. The one thing that's for certain, two things for sure, we ain't out here playing. And we got
Right.
to make sure they understand that we ain't playing. So
Absolutely.
Thea, can just as a side thing, that when I say that means we should be standing out there 500 deep. For real, we should be
For
standing. It's a million of us. We should be out there a million deep.
Yeah.
for sure, for
But
sure.
we gonna keep it conservative, right? And say that we should show. It's time for us to show, right? It's no way. When was your last encounter with the law, brother Chris?
13 years ago.
Okay, 13 years ago, man, you have paid your debt, right? You gave them everything they asked you
Absolutely.
for, right? Everything they
What?
asked
Say
you
that
for,
again.
you gave it to them, right? Everything they asked
Oh
you
yeah.
for. So you did
Absolutely.
that. So now you trying to step into the next steps of your life. You should never be denied, brother. You're good from what I've been able to sit next to, talk to, and conversate with and build with. You're a good man. You're a family man. You're a father, first of all, active in
I
your
appreciate
children's
that.
lives, right?
Yeah.
So who am I to tell you, first of all, that you can't protect your house? That's number one, right? And then tell you that, hey, man, I don't care what you gave me. You still owe me for life. That ain't right.
Yeah. Not.
And so this is what June 12th is about. This is what we standing up for. This is the vision. It's for us to show solidarity. It's for us to be on a podcast with all different walks of life. I don't have to name them all out, right? We all can see
Right.
what's going on this podcast. We have everybody with different views and we have been taught to be against each other. We have been taught to be separated, while the whole time we being oppressed by 1%.
Yep.
You understand what I'm saying? So it's this our time. You allowing us to have a platform. That shows that this our time. You understand, like, I gotta play a part. Everything gonna play a part. Just like pirate radio played the part in certain kind of movements and revolutions, right? This is important. It plays a part.
Yeah.
Monica plays her part. She knows what she needs to be doing, engaging with the community, making sure people come aboard, making sure people understand what Clean Slate Initiative look like. Why does it need to be passed? What happens when it's passed? Right? Shantae understanding the GROW Act, understanding the Clean Slate Initiative, talking to the people who have some opinion on it, that are judges and different things of that nature, who have influence to be able to change it. All of us play a cognitive part to make this work. Man, that's why I appreciate everybody, and I appreciate you allowing us to get the word out about June 12th and how important it is for everybody just to pull up, man. It's going to start at 3 o'clock, I believe, right? 3 o'clock is it's
Yes.
going to start at the state building. Pull up, man. Hunk your horns. Drive by, hunk your horns. You ain't got to stand out there if you feel like, hey, I don't want everybody to know. Come by and hunk your horn.
I might try. I might see what my runs are looking like next week. I might bring the whole truck and tanker down there and make a
Yes.
few laps around the courthouse,
Bring
laying
the
on the air
dog
horn.
too. Yes. Bring
Woo!
everybody.
Boy,
I make no promises. I'm on a tight
Yes.
schedule Monday through Thursday, but it's only about an hour away, so I might swing down if I can make up
hey,
some time.
man.
Hey,
Whatever
but I
it is.
really think too, like, it's important that people understand, like, so for me, it's different. Like, I kind of thought about this since I'd known that we've been going, like, cause like Lamar said, I was on the inside, I was able to be inside that building for over a year. And I was sitting there as they discussed clean slate initiative. And I was the person who had lived experience. And so for me, like, a lot of things happen in our world and they give us fake news to distract us, right? I think it's important to understand on Wednesday, it's a message, at least for me personally. I can't speak for BFL as a whole, but me personally say, hey, I'm paying attention and this is what I value and you can't give me fake news or you can't give me fake knowledge to distract me from what's going on. And not only me, but I got a community of
Period.
individuals,
Yes.
you know what I'm saying, that are paying attention and our voice matters. So that's what Wednesday means to me. The power of them looking outside of their work window and being like, there is 600 people out here and they are telling us this is just the beginning of what we can do.
Facts.
And we are paying attention. Are you paying attention?
Yeah, that's awesome. That's amazing.
That was deep, sis.
All right, so Monica, I know you said you had till about 7:30, so real quick, I'll wrap this. One more question. How can people find you guys, and what can the viewers do or anybody seeing this do to support Building Freedom?
Anybody in Akron, Canton, locally, you guys want to reach out, you can reach out to me. My Facebook is Monica Moaning. All my other social media is BFO_Monica. Get on social media. Google it. My phone number is 234-716-8913. I'm the person locally that you can call. I'm the chairman or the co-chair for the Welcome and Onboarding Committee. Any questions, anything you want to do to get active, just reach out.
That's awesome. All right, guys. Well, I thank you. I know she's got to take off, so we'll go ahead and wrap this. Everybody, like they said, next it's Wednesday, June 12th, down at the Columbus State House.
There is a bus leaving. Can we say this There's a bus leaving from South and Grant Street in Akron at 12:45. Anybody that wants to go, be there by 12:30. Kim Evans is the lady who will be coordinating the bus. Get with her and she'll get you on the bus and get you there and back that same day.
Or obviously reach out to Monica.
Or yeah, you can reach out to me
with the contact details she just gave you. And guys,
and then real quick, 2 seconds before you cut us off, bro.
No, do your thing.
If you want more information about BFO, we are currently have a booth, a table every first Friday at downtown Canton. So this Friday, pop up, show up, man. The more people we can get down there, the more we can start giving you the knowledge and the power to educate yourself, the more you gonna want to be in Columbus with us come Wednesday.
Somebody shout your website real quick too.
Building Freedom, Ohio.
Yeah, okay. So it's guys, it's www.buildingfreedomohio.com. So anybody that wants to go on there and check them out, I was rolling their website right before we hopped on. It's a
stay on the social media,
website.
guys.
What's that?
Stay on the social media.
But guys, I thank you for doing this. Like I said, give me about 24 hours to put all this together. I wish you the best of luck down in Columbus, and I'll 100% if I can make about 2 hours, 3 hours up in my first 2 days, I'll swing down in the semi and
that'll be fire. That will be fire.
See, you guys won't give me my management positions back because I'm a felon, so now I'm gonna roll your state house in a for a half hour.
Yes, absolutely.
Appreciate you, Chris. I really do.
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure. We'll be in touch, guys. Thank you guys so much for doing this. Good luck to you.
See ya.
All right. Bye-bye.